بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحي أهلا بكم أحبائي وفي درس جديد مختلف تماما عن الدروس، وليس مختلفا تماما عن الدروس، بل في درس جديد متعلق بالهندسة ومتعلق بالهندسة الصناعية بالتحديد وأساليب إدارة المشاريع الهندسية، سواء المشاريع التي تتعلق بالهندسة المدنية أو المشاريع التي تتعلق بالهندسة المعمارية، أو أي مشروع يتعلق أي مشروع مختص بالمختبرات أو إنشاء أي مهمة مطلوبة أو موكل إليها المهندس بالإتقان. So in the name of God, most gracious, most merciful, here we are again, ladies and gentlemen, and once again in a brand new lecture that mostly associated to the engineering and the urban fire, or even the urban engineering as well as civic duty engineering, and the engineering that mostly associated to business management, such as the economics and administration faculty, and the lecture for today, or better for but the tutorial for today is actually pretty much search about or even revolves about the administration techniques and the strategies that actually used to be followed, or even the strategies used to be conducted by the most fundamental techniques uptaken by the engineerings, as well as used by the lab laborers, or even used by the lab personnel to run and managing projects and businesses by the two fundamental methods, or even by the two paramount methods, such as the critical path method and the PERT method, project evaluation and review techniques, and the critical path method. So today we're just gonna have to visualize and picturize deliver an optimal idea, or even deliver an essential idea about the project management, as well as business quality assurances that mostly associated to the tools, or even mostly associated to the products that actually used to be exported, or even used to be imported from in or out, or exported from the inside out, or even from the outside in. The products should be inspected, or even should be optimally or even appropriately examined for further processing, or even for further tasking, or even for detecting the appropriate, or for detecting the consumability of the product, or even to detect the consumability of the stuff that or even the consumability of not the stuff here, the purposes, like the consumability of the consumability of merchandise, or anything that could be of maximal advantage for the individual. So today we're just gonna have to search about the projects here, project management, and very sophisticated techniques, or even the very modernized techniques here for project management and running, or even managing the task, as well as knowing and figuring out the duration, up to optimal duration here, for the tasks to be accomplished, or even for the tasks to be even crashed, for reaching optimal results and consequences, or even for multiple stages, or even multiple phases project, or even multiple phases task accomplishment to reach also an optimal result in case the task is actually given to the or even assigned to the engineering, or even assigned to the engineer, or even the task is actually assigned to the special firm or special private equity firm. Assets should be accomplished, or even should be crashed, or the site is about to the assignment, or even the task here attached, or even assigned to any special localized private equity firm assets, reaching the optimal rate, or even reaching the optimal level that could be just for the mission, or even just for the task, or even the project here to be optimally established, or even to be optimally accomplished on the most appropriate as well as the optimal manner. So today we're just gonna have to run a whole new different lecture that actually mostly revolves, or even that actually mostly attached or even assigned to associated to the project management techniques or project management strategies, such as we're just gonna have to search about two very important and two essential methods here to be used in project management, as well as determination of the optimal duration for the projects, as well as the task assigned to any engineer around worldwide. As you can see, CPM, the critical path method، يعني طريقة المسار الحرج، و PERT project evaluation and review technique، يعني أساليب إدارة أو أساليب مراجعة وتقييم المشاريع. الفصل الأول العام 2013 ميلادية. The first semester or the first semester of 2013 AD. Operation Research PAD 351 is actually the 7th chapter for the operation procedures, or the task procedures for project management associated to the specialized section for today, that is mostly called or even denoted as project management techniques. The chapter 7. The project management techniques are done by two methods: critical path method, just like indicated, or just like is stipulated at the previous picture, or at the previous front. As you can see right here for you, the critical path method as well as the PERT method. A project evaluation and review technique and critical path method, most important as well as VIP top-notch methods or even strategies or even techniques that are used to calculate or even to compute the optimal duration for the project to be accomplished. The lecture for today, or even the chapter we're about to search today, or even we're about to go through right now, they're actually categorized to the following classes, or even classified to the following classes, or classified as the following classes states: the project definitions, project management techniques, domains for the project management techniques to be used، يعني مجالات استخدام أساليب إدارة المشاريع، the purpose of using the project management techniques, project management stages, project management phases, or the required steps to represent any business grid project، يعني خطوات لازم تمثيل مشروع بشبكة عمل، work grid or work network، project scheduling at the uncertain activity times, project scheduling at the uncertain activity times, calculating critical path, as well as crashing project or even crashing task execution، يعني الإسراع في تنفيذ المشروع. crashing الإسراع هنا في تنفيذ المهمة وليس المشروع. As you can see right in front of you, here's photos here stipulated, or even photos here for the most urban cities aspects, or the most urban aspects on worldwide, such as San Francisco Bridge, as well as the holy Mecca and the holy mosque, as well as the city here in Australia, in Sydney, Australia. And as you can see right in front of you, the most urban worldwide, or the most urban terrestrial sites really and commonly known worldwide، يعني أكثر المناطق المتمدنة أو الحضارية في العالم، في الكرة الأرضية، والمعروفة والشائعة في كل مكان. كما ترون أمامكم المسجد الحرام، the holy mosque, as you can see right in front of you, as you can see right here in front of the holy mosque in the middle of Mecca, the holy Mecca, as well as the San Francisco Bridge، يعني جسر سان فرانسيسكو، أو جسر في الصين، جسر في الصين موجود طويل جدا يمتد طوله لأكثر من كيلومترين، وكذلك مدينة سيدني في استراليا، as you can see right in front of you, as well as a Sydney city, or even the Sydney, the capital of Australia continent. Oceania. Operational Research PID 351. Project management. Project management. The project is a click, or even a group of the interface activities which should be executed in a particular succession in order to accomplish perfect project, or even in order to accomplish a perfect task. يعني بهدف هو عبارة عن مجموعة من الأنشطة التي يتم تنفيذها as a group of activities should be executed. لا مو متداخلة ولا ليس متداخلة. ليس المتداخلة هنا المتداخلة تحذف، يجب أن تحذف تماما. ليست المتداخلة، لا يمكن أن نسمي. We cannot denote for the project components as interference. We cannot denote an interference or interference term for any project components that are actually available, or any project components that are actually used to visualize or used to visualize by us, or even we're about to visualize. يعني لا يمكننا أن نلفظ كلمة، أو لا يمكننا أن نقول كلمة متداخل، نطلق كلمة متداخل على أنشطة المشروع أو على أنشطة المهمة الموكلة للمهندس، or any activities for the task assigned to the engineer or assigned even to the contractor. يعني للمقاول، موكل المهمة التي المعطاة للمهندس أو المقاول. The activity as a task or even a stage or even a phase in a project requires time as well as sources, substantial or even humanitarian resources to be accomplished. يعني هو مهمة أو مرحلة في مشروع تتطلب وقتا وموارد مادية أو بشرية لكي يتم إنجازها. Project management. The project will be a one-time effort or even a two-times effort where the same succession of the activities may repeat in the future. May repeat in the future, as you can see right in front of you. The management focusing here is for the project to be accomplished in the determined duration or in the scheduled duration. تركيز الإدارة هنا أن تتم المهمة في في الوقت المحدد لها. The administration focusing here, or the administration is concentrating, is all about the task to be accomplished at the determined duration or at the determined duration for. يعني تركيز الإدارة هنا هو أن تتم المهمة في الوقت المحدد لها. Here just like we stipulate before، يعني هنا كما أنصصنا من قبل على في أساليب إدارة المشاريع at the business or even at the project management techniques. The technique of critical path. The technique of a critical path. Critical path is actually pretty much functional in calculating the optimal duration or even calculating the most probable duration for the optimal duration. The optimal duration is done or even conducted or even can be computed or calculated by the critical path technique, as well as the most probable time duration or even the most probable due date is calculated by the PERT method or even PERT technique, program evaluation and review technique or even project evaluation or review technique. يعني أسلوب المسار الحرج يحسب به الوقت المثالي لإنهاء المهمة، الوقت المثالي لإتمام أو لإنجاز المهمة. Critical path method at which the most optimal durations or most optimal due date for the task to be accomplished is calculated with. Program evaluation and techniques gives you the most probable way of the probability, the maximal probability for the optimal durations or the optimal due date for the project or even for the task. Just for the task, even the project way too great to be mentioned because as we're actually having right now, or even the program. So we're just gonna have to say the task. All you have to do is say the task here to be accomplished. CPM والبيرت متداخلة في بينها، يعني مو ليس متداخلة وإنما تتعلق مع بعضها متعلقة مع بعضها. The characteristics of the project management both techniques. The characteristics of the both project management techniques يعني خواص كل من أساليب إدارة المشاريع، كل من أسلوب المسار الحرج each of critical path method as well as the PERT technique. Here's for the critical path method. هنا في أسلوب المسار الحرج. The required time for each activity is predetermined or even pre-specified. يعني الوقت اللازم لكل نشاط محدد مسبقا. For the PERT يعني في البيرت في طريقة أسلوب تقييم ومراجعة المشروع. The required time for each activity is probable and estimative or even approximative. Estimative. الوقت التام أو الوقت اللازم لكل نشاط يكون احتمالي وتقديري، وهو الأضبط أكيد. احتمالي والتقديري هو الأضبط لأن تتم بالأرقام أو تتم بالنشاط الرقمي. the most adjusted optimal duration here is to be determined or even to be specified is by using the PERT method or even by using the PERT technique, because the PERT technique is giving you the we're just gonna have to say the giving you the focusing the possibility of or even better phrase, it can be like focusing or concentrating focusing on concentration on the enhanceability of the activation or even activity duration for the course as possible by adding or even introducing a more labor or even sophisticated instruments. يعني التركيز على مدة النشاط مقابل التكلفة الممكنة عن طريق إضافة عمال laborers or even sophisticated instruments أو آلات حديثة. The PERT is determining the most optimal activities which helps the administration or even aid the administration to focus in their efforts to guarantee task accomplishment in the predetermined time without any delay or the accomplishment of the project or the accomplishment of the task in the time determined for. يعني يعمل على تحديد الأنشطة المهمة والتي تساعد الإدارة على تركيز جهودها عليها which aids the administration or aids the management or the responsible management or the management in charge or even the responsible management to focus or to concentrate their efforts to guarantee task accomplishment in the time determined for. يعني ضمان إنجاز المهمة في الوقت المحدد لها. Are the critical path method are the critical path techniques actually used to managing project, as you can see right in front of you, studying and knowing the relevancy between time and costs. Each of the both technique is actually pretty much a project time artillery dependent. يعني يعتمد كل من الأسلوبين على وضع جدول زمني للمهمة. The domains of utilizations of project management techniques يعني مجالات استخدام أساليب إدارة المشاريع. Searching and upgrading new products. A brand new product. Constructing plants, buildings, infrastructure as well as roads networks. بناء المصانع والعمران عمائر والبنية التحتية وشبكات الطرق. Intricated and substantial or even the substantial equipment maintenance required. يعني صيانة المعدات الهائلة ليس المعقدة وإنما الهائلة فقط. The substantial project management as well as the substantial task management and the considered unique or even considered very rare. يعني إدارة المشاريع الكبيرة التي المعتبرة أو التي تعتبر الفريدة من نوعها. The main purpose of using the project evaluation and review technique or project management techniques. The required time is to accomplish or even is to compute the required time for any task accomplishment. يعني الهدف من استخدام أساليب إدارة المشاريع لتحديد الوقت اللازم لإنجاز مهمة. Beginning and the end. Where the activity. The critical activities should be accomplished at the specified time as they are scheduled for. يعني الأنشطة الحرجة ويجب إتمامها في الوقت المحدد. As well as the critical activities should be accomplished in the same specified time for as it's scheduled for, as it is scheduled for. The maximal limit for any uncritical activity delay without any task delay with any task delay with a further task delay, as you can see right in front of you. Which of the following or which of the critical activities can be pressed or even can be crashed with further course as possible in case of willing crash. يعني أي أنشطة الحرجة يمكن ضغطها بتكلفة ممكنة في حال الرغبة في الإسراع crash to accelerate the project performing or the accelerate the accelerate of the task performance. يعني تسريع إداء المهمة. Reaching an optimal way with an optimal consequences or results by accomplishment of the task, by accomplishing the task or completion by the completion of the task in a very appropriate manner and the most appropriate manner with further cost that is possible. Project management stages or project management phases. Planning phase. Dividing the task for any separate activities. Any separate activities disposal. يعني تقسيم المهمة لأي أنشطة منفصلة تدار or even managed or even disposal by the responsible management. Estimating time for each activity at a time. Estimating time for each activity at a time. يعني تقدير الوقت لكل نشاط على حدة. Representing the activities with a work network or with a business network. يعني تمثيل الأنشطة بشبكة عمل. Representing the activities with a business grid. Scheduling phase. مرحلة الجدولة. Setting for an itinerary rating that doesn't view the time of each activity and its relevancy to the further or other activities. يعني وضع جدول زمني، جدول مواعيد زمني يوضح زمن كل نشاط وعلاقته بالأنشطة الأخرى. Surveillance stage or even surveillance phase يعني مرحلة المراقبة. Monitoring phase مرحلة المراقبة. Using the work grids as well as the itinerary rating for reporting project progress. For reporting project progress يعني استخدام شبكة العمل والجدول الزمني لعمل تقارير عن تقدم المشروع. The required steps to represent any task with a business network يعني الخطوات اللازمة لتمثيل أي مشروع to visualize each project or even each task with a business network يعني الخطوات اللازمة لتمثيل أي مهمة بشبكة عمل. Listing the introduced activity of the task. Listing the introduced activities of the task. يعني إعداد قائمة بالأنشطة الداخلة في المشروع في العمل أو في المهمة. اثنان. This is first of all. Second of all, listing the predecessor activities for each of the introduced activities directly to the task. يعني إعداد قائمة بالأنشطة السابقة لكل من الأنشطة الداخلة في المشروع مباشرة. Listing the predecessor activities for each of the input activities directly to the task. يعني إعداد قائمة بالأنشطة السابقة لكل من الأنشطة الداخلة في المشروع مباشرة. Calculating the required time for each activity. A. Specified by using critical path method. B. Probable احتمالي for project evaluation and review technique method. 4. Drawing or even plotting the business or even the work network يعني رسم شبكة العمل. The mechanism to draw or even the mechanism to plot any work network or any business network or any business grid يعني الخطوات لرسم شبكة العمل. تمثل شبكة العمل بسهم. The business grid is actually represented by or even visualized by an arrow launched from a point and to a further point يعني ينطلق من نقطة إلى نقطة يبدأ من نقطة وإلى نقطة. The arrow represents the activity A يعني السهم يمثل النشاط A. هنا السهم من الواحد إلى الاثنان يمثل النشاط ألف. The arrow represents or even the arrow stands for activity A. The arrow stands for activity A يعني السهم يمثل النشاط A ألف. مدة النشاط 5 أيام. The activity duration 5 days. The activity duration is 5 days. رجاء ركزون على السهم على كيفية رسم السهم وكذلك كيفية معرفة مدة النشاط. لذا السهم سوف يمثل ب denotation اللي هي اسم السهم A وكذلك ال duration of the activity or even the duration of the activity task يعني يمثل بوقت إنجاز المهمة أو وقت النشاط وقت لكل نشاط. الوقت هنا 5 here the time is duration 5 and A is the denotation of the arrow يعني هنا A هي رمز سهم النشاط أو رمز is the notation for the activity arrow يعني رمز سهم النشاط. The event number 1 or the event 1 is the beginning or the commencement of the activity يعني الحدث رقم 1 هو بداية النشاط. The event number 2 is the activity accomplishment يعني الحدث 2 هو إنجاز النشاط. كما ترون ركزونا رجاء في خطوات رسم شبكة العمل. Here's, as you can see right in front of you, a simplified representation or even a simplified visualization for the business grid plotting or even business grid sketching. The as you can see right in front of you, as illustrated here in the type or in the table. The table is actually pretty much associated dually with the arrow network or the network arrows, as you can see, as arranged here or as ordered in the following manner right here in front of you, represented by the activity and the predecessor activity. يعني النشاط والنشاط السابق كما ترون أمامكم. يعني هنا الأنشطة كما هو موضح هنا، الأنشطة أسماء الأنشطة، أسماء يعني ألف باء نشاط هو السهم، يعني هنا النشاط هو السهم، اسم السهم. باء هو السهم الثاني، جيم هو السهم الثالث. Here you can see where the A and B is the second arrow, and the Jim is the third arrow. Wow is the fourth arrow. Dal is the fourth arrow. Ha is the fifth arrow. Wow is the sixth arrow, as you can see right in front of you. The predecessor activity for the A arrow is none, as you can see right in front of you. As well as the predecessor activity for the A arrow is B. As well as the predecessor activity for the A and as you can see right in front of you. The predecessor activity for the G is B arrow, extending from or even stretched from the point 1 to point 3. يعني النشاط السابق للجيم هو البي الممتد من النقطة 1 إلى النقطة 3. هنا لا يهمل، هنا الخط هنا والخط هنا يهمل. هنا الفارزة والفارزة هنا تهمل، لا يمكن دراستها، لا تدرسوها وإنما تهمل. Here, as you can see right in front of you, the dash here should be neglected or deallocated at the same time, and shouldn't be looked at, or even shouldn't be visualized. The only visualization is to be done for the predecessor activity as ba, B as an A, and G for the H, and the G for the wow, as well as the D and H and wow, dal ha wow, as well as for the Z or for the Zai, here for the Zai letter, or even for the Z activity. Here's the B, as you can see right here. Here's the B activity is the predecessor or even the formal activity for the G. Formal activity for the G activity. يعني هنا البي هو النشاط السابق أو السهم السابق للجي. A and G، ألف and جيم، ألف وجيم يعني ألف هنا وجيم هما الأنشطة السابقة للدال. Are the A and G, Aleph and Jim, are the formal activities here for the D activity, as well as or even for the Dal activity. Only stretched or even only correlated between each other between the A and G by a dashed arrow here, extended from the point 4 to the point 2. يعني هنا الأنشطة السابقة ألف وجيم ممثلة بنشاط منقط يمتد من 4 إلى 2 من النقطة 4 إلى 2 just to attach the both arrows, just to attach the both activities to the same point of D, or to the same point at which the D is launching from, or exactly to the point at which the D activity is actually triggering, or even the D activity is going from. يعني هنا الخط المنقط يستعمل لربط النشاط ألف مع النشاط جيم حتى يصلون إلى النقطة 2 حتى يصلون إلى النشاط دي، النشاط دال. هنا كذلك هنا الجيم as well as here, as you can see right in front of you, the gym here is the formal activity for the H. يعني هنا الجيم here, as you can see right in front of you, the gym is the formal activity for the H activity or for the ha activity. يعني هنا الجي هو الجيم، هنا الجيم هو النشاط السابق للنشاط ها، يعني قبل النشاط ها، أو النشاط السابق الذي يسبق النشاط ها. The gym as well as the gym, as you can see right in front of you, is the formal activity for the activity wow. For the activity wow here, the activity wow extends from point 4 to 6, as well as the gym, which is the formal activity for the wow activity, extends from the point 3 to 4. يعني هنا الجيم هو النشاط سابق أو النشاط يعني النشاط السابق للنشاط واو وهاء في نفس الوقت. And as you can see right in front of you, the Z here, the Z activity is attached, or even the Z activity is triggering from the three or a triple activity system or even attached, or even launching from the generation of or even generated the generacy of Z activity, or even the generation of the Z activity is from the triple arrow system or triple activity system, or triple activity network, represented by the dal and H ha, as well as the wow at the 0.6, as well as the H at the 0.5 and the dal at the 0.5 in the same time. هنا الدال والهاء والواو، الدال والهاء يرتبطون مباشرة بالنقطة 5. دال and ha, the activity dal as well as the activity ha are correlated, or even are junctioned, or even meeting at the same 0.5. And the same 0.5 is illustrated here for you in the network visualization. يعني كما موضح هنا أمامكم بالتمثيل الشبكي. التمثيل الشبكي يبين إنه النقطة دال grid representation, or even the network visualization illustrates or even disambiguates that dal arrow as well as the H arrow is meeting in the same, or even junction to the same 0.5 at which the Z is launching from. يعني التي ينطلق منها النشاط V أو الأكتيفيتي التي ينطلق منها النشاط Z أو الأكتيفيتي زاي. وكذلك الواو هنا يمكن أن ترتبط بالدال والهاء عن طريق سهم منقط, as well as the wow here, the wow activity launching from the 0.4 to 0.6 exactly, commencing at 4 and accomplished at 6, can even stretch or even can be attached directly to the 0.5 at which the dal activity and the H activity is actually bonding each other with, or even are meeting, at which the activity as well as the H activity are meeting at. يعني هنا by a dashed arrow. So the activity Y, which is like here, the activity W, or even the activity Y from point far right to 0.6, it can be attached or even can be correlated to the 5 point at which the D activity and H activity are meeting at. In the same time, Z activity is launching from. So the Z activity resultant is actually generated from the meeting, or even generated from the intersections of three activities, dal and ha and wow. يعني نشاط زاي من ثلاث، أو نشاط زاي من متولد من ثلاثة أنشطة اللي هي دال والهاء والواو بسهم منقط, generated from three or triple activity system or triple activity correlation represented or even by a dashed arrow as illustrated here. يعني بسهم منقط كما موضح هنا. ركزوا على طريقة رسم الشبكة وعلى الأنشطة السابقة. أهم موقع كما ترونه أمامكم هنا، أو أهم فكرة يجب أن يركز عليها, the most important as well as the most essential idea should be concentrated at is the formal as well as the previous activity for the activity about to be visualized. يعني النشاط السابق للنشاط المشروح، النشاط الحالي, the previous activity or even the predecessor activity or even the formal activity for the current activity we're dealing with. Example: a supplying a private equity firm would like to upgrade and collaborate their marketing complex by adding 7 to 10 of marketing units, or 7 to 10 of brand marketing units. The required is as follows. يعني المطلوب هو كذلك: ترغب شركة التمويل في تطوير وتوسيع مجمعها التسويقي ماركتينج كومبلكس بحيث تضيف بإضافة 7 إلى 10 وحدات تسويقية جديدة. 7 to 10 by adding or even by introducing 7 to 10 a whole new brand marketing units The required is as follows. والمطلوب هو كالتالي. Identification of positive identification for the critical path and the duration, which means the duration required to accomplish the task. يعني أي المدة المهمة اللازمة لإنهاء أو لإنجاز المهمة. Good. First item, the activity A, B, G, D, H, W, Z, حاء طاء. ألف باء جيم دال هاء واو زاي حاء طاء هي أسماء الأنشطة، أسماء السهوم التي سترسم مستقبلا. Or the denotations for the arrow about to be visualized or even about to be plotted futuristically. يعني سترسم مستقبلا في حل المثال at the resolution or at the solution of the example. Statement determining geometrical or engineering sketches, determining the expected or the usual renters, setting for the renters database or preparation of renters database يعني إعداد قاعدة بيانات للمستأجرين, selection of the contractor or contractor selection, preparing the database for the municipality clearance, having a municipality sanction يعني الحصول على موافقة البلدية أو having committee sanction الحصول على موافقة لجنة البلدية. Preparing as well as preparing the database for the municipality or the committee clearance يعني إعداد البيانات لتصريح البلدية أو لترخيص البلدية. Commencing construction يعني بدء بالبناء. هنا النشاط السابق. Sign contracts with renters يعني توقيع العقود مع المستأجرين. Renters proceeding business يعني تسليم مفاتيح المستأجرين أو بداية عمل المستأجرين. الوقت بالأسبوع، الوقت للنشاط ألف هو 5. The duration of the A activity is 5, as well as the duration for B activity or that activity is 6. Duration for G activity is 4 days. That activity 3 days. Ha activity 1 day. Wow activity 4 days. Zai activity or Zai activity, yeah, Zai activity 14 days. And the Ha activity is 12 days, as well as lately Ta activity is 2 days. So here, as you can see right in front of you, the A is for preparation, or the G activity is launching from the A activity, which means the preparation of database of renters, setting database of renters يعني إعداد بيانات المستأجرين. النشاط ينطلق من النشاط ألف، ينطلق من النشاط ألف كما ترون أمامكم، تحديد الرسومات الهندسية. كذلك اختيار المقاول ينطلق من النشاط ألف. As well as the D activity is the contractor selection, or the D activity associated to the contractor selection is launching also or even generated from the A activity or from the ألف activity. Determination of the engineering sketches يعني تحديد الرسومات الهندسية. كذلك as well as the third activity generation, or if the third activity generated from the A activity is setting database for the municipality or city hall clearance يعني إعداد البيانات لتصريح البلدية. ينطلق من النشاط A. Wow activity here, as you can see right in front of you, the fourth activity or wow activity is stated or even stipulating the acquiring of the municipality sanction, or in the acquire the municipality endorsement or even approval يعني الحصول على موافقة البلدية. تنطلق من الactivity هاء is launching from or even generated from the activity هاء. زاي launching from the activity دال and واو يعني construction commencement يعني البدء بالبناء أو النشاط زاي البدء بالبناء ينطلق من الدال والواو. دال هو اختيار المقاول لكي يبدأ البناء, selection of the contractor to commence the construction, to proceed construction, as well as acquiring the city hall or even acquiring the municipality sanction يعني الحصول على موافقة البلدية. حاء تنطلق من أو تتولد من النشاط باء وجيم. Ha activity is actually generated from the B and G activity, Ba and Jim activity, signing contracts with renters. Ba and Jim is actually determining renters or determining the usual renters. as well as setting database for the usual renters. يعني تحديد المستأجرين المتوقعين وإعداد البيانات للمستأجرين. تنطلق منها النشاط حاء, at which the activity حاء is actually branching or even generated from. The activity طاء. The activity طاء is businesses or even the renters commencing business. The renters commencing business. يعني طاء الفعالية طاء, فعالية أو النشاط طاء يبدأ ببدء العمل للمستأجرين. تنطلق من الفعالية commencing or even incepting from or even beginning from the renters commencing business activity. طاء is representing the commencing or the renters commencing business activities generated from the both activities of زاي and حاء. As you can see right from the زاي indicates the activity for construction commencement, as well as the H here or the HA activity indicates the contract signature or the contract signing with the renters. يعني الحاء كما ترون أمامكم والزاي كما ترون أمامكم تنطلق منها ضاء. والترتيب كما هو: الوقت في الأسبوع, the duration in a week, 5 days for activity A, 6 days for activity B, and 4 days for activity G, as well as 3 days for activity D, as well as 1 day for activity H, and 4 days for activity Y, and 14 days for activity Z, and 12 days for activity H, and 2 days for activity A. The solution: grid network, as we indicated before. You can only compare the grid visualization or even the network or the business network visualization with the data as given, or with the theoretical data, or even with the scheduled and itinerary data previously, just for comparison. And you're going to learn, God willing, of course, God willing, the Almighty glorified and exalted, you're going to learn the way to do business works or even to do business networks. The way also you're going to learn the optimal manner or even the optimal way to draw and to sketch and to plot the business network, the optimal business network for any task that is available, for any further task that actually used to be assigned to any engineer or to any labor or to any private assets in the future. ركزوا على الشبكة رجاء, please concentrate on the network, on the business network as illustrated or as indicated, visualized right here in front of you, as indicated by visualization here right in front of you. That commencing concentrates at the denotations for the arrows or denotation for each activity, as well as the duration for each activity. يعني ركزوا على أسماء الأسهم وكيفية توزيعها, and the way for distribution, and way for arrows and activities distributions, as well as the notations for distributions, or even the denotations for the arrows activities, and the duration for the activities till they reach the due date or the task accomplishment. يعني المدة الأقصاها حتى يصلون إلى مدة أقصاها هي مدة إنجاز المهمة. وركزوا على أسماء المشاريع أو أسماء الأنشطة وكذلك مدة كل نشاط. ربع ستاب الحي. The way to verify the authenticity of any task grid representation or any task grid visualization. يعني الطريقة للتأكد من صحة تمثيل الشبكة للمشروع. The way to confirm or even to verify the authenticity of the grid representation of the task. We can answer the follows for each activity. يعني نجيب على ما يلي بالنسبة لكل نشاط. Determine the activities that should accomplished before beginning of this activity, or even prior to the commencement of this activity. Determination of the activities that should follow this activity, this main present activity, or even that should follow the current activity. Determining the ingolf, or even determining the synchronized activities with the current activities reviewed. يعني تحديد الأنشطة المتزامنة synchronized يعني متزامنة مع هذا النشاط الحالي مع النشاط الذي ندرسه. Solutions. The steps to calculate the critical path. First step, determination, the early time of the activity start and the early time for activity accomplishment, as you can see right here for you. This is the early time for the beginning. This is the early time for the beginning, as well as this is the early time for the accomplishment. يعني هنا مع كل نشاط. Here, whereas each activity, there's actually a very early time, very early duration for the activity start. يعني هنا مع كل فعالية أو مع كل نشاط هناك وقت بدء ووقت إنجاز. Here, with each activity, there's actually a time duration or even duration of a start as well as the duration for accomplishment. Here is the duration for start is 6 as well as the duration of accomplishment is 0. As you can see right in front of you. For each activity that is actually visualized into this current business network or even this current business network illustrated in the following figure right in front of you or right ahead. Begin. Good. You can only do following. You can only do following for the steps of critical path computation. يعني تابع خطوات حساب المسار الحرج الآن. The third step, overflow time. The delayed time for the activity commencement or the delayed time for activity inception, and the early time for activity inception. The delayed time for activity accomplishment and the early time of the activity accomplishment. يعني الوقت المتأخر لانتهاء النشاط والوقت المبكر لانتهاء النشاط لإنجاز النشاط. الوقت المتأخر لإنجاز كل نشاط. The delayed time or the delay duration for the accomplishment of each activities and the early duration for the accomplishment of each activities. Overflow time, as you can see right in front of you, the extra time or even the overflow time, the delayed durations for the any activity commencement and the early duration for any activity commencement. And as you can see right in front of you, this is the early time and this is the delayed time. يعني هنا الوقت المبكر وهنا الوقت النهائي, the final or the finalized duration. رجاء يمكن لكل نشاط طبعا لكل نشاط رجاء يجب التركيز على الخطوات المعطاة الآن الخطوات المعطاة الآن يجب التركيز عليها رجاء. The steps given now or even the steps as visualized right now, the present or current steps as visualized or picturized right now, as you can see right here, illustrated in the following business network ahead, as you can see right here in front of you, should be concentrated at carefully and consolidately. يعني يجب التركيز عليها بثبات وبحذر لرسم أي شبكة عمل لإدارة المشاريع, to close any business network for projects or even for tasks management. Good. Keep following the steps of the critical path computation. يعني تابع خطوات حساب المسار الحرج. Fourth step, determination of the critical path, which is the path looks the activities that doesn't have any or any activity that doesn't have any overflow time. The activities that have the very overflow time, as you can see right in front of you, which the path or even the path or the trajectory the path that links, or even the links or it correlates between the activities that has pretty much overflow time, or in the path that correlates the activities that has pretty much an overflow time. The critical path is A H واو ألف هاء واو زاي طاء. المدة اللازمة لإنجاز المهمة هي the required duration for the task accomplishment is the summation for the required duration for the entire critical path constitutive activities accomplishment. يعني مجموع المدة اللازمة لإنجاز الأنشطة المكونة لمسار الحرج هي المدة اللازمة لإنهاء المهمة برمتها is the required time, or even the required time to accomplish the entire task. The required duration to accomplish the task, يعني المدة اللازمة لإنجاز المهمة هي 5 زائد 1 زائد 4 زائد 14 زائد 2 يساوي 26 أسبوع. 5 plus 1 plus 4 plus 14 plus 2 equals to 26 weeks. Only 26 weeks is actually the per time, the optimal duration required for the current tasks to be accomplished. The required durations for the current task components, or for the current task activity just to be accomplished. يجب التركيز عليها رجاء التركيز على المسار الحرج. معرفة المسار الحرج في أي شبكة عمل. Please concentrate to the critical path. Concentrate to the critical path, and knowing of the critical path, as well as positive identification for the critical path from any business network, or any project grid, or any task grid. Okay. In case the charge for the task is in case the charge for the task, or the man in charge for the task is actually compelling the contractor crash and accomplish the task within only 22 weeks, or within only 20 weeks. يعني ماذا يعني هنا في حالة لو طلب صاحب المشروع من المتعهد الإسراع, in case of the person in charge of the task is actually requesting the contractor to crash and accomplish the tasks within only 20 weeks. يعني في حالة طلب صاحب المشروع من المتعهد الإسراع وإنجاز المشروع في خلال 20 أسبوع فقط. كما ترون, the required data for the crash is as follows, or are as follows. The required data for the task accomplishments are as follows: crashing task execution, crashing task performance, يعني crashing or even accelerating of the task performance, يعني التسريع في تنفيذ المشروع. البيانات المطلوبة, the required data are as follows: estimating the cost for the activity accomplishment in the usual duration, يعني تقدير تكاليف إنجاز النشاط at the usual duration. Estimating the cost of the activity accomplishment at the usual duration. Any possible duration for the activity accomplishment, or any possible duration for the arrow accomplishments. Estimating the cost of the arrow accomplishments or the activity accomplishments in case of crash, in case of any crash. Estimating the cost of the activity accomplishment in case of any crash take place. Calculating the cost of crash of the task performance, or the cost of crash cost computation of the crash cost in the task execution. We can only determine the critical activities, يعني نحدد الأنشطة الحرجة كما نعرف نحدد الأنشطة الحرجة من شبكة العمل. We can only determine or even specify the critical activities from the business network. Specify the cost for each critical activity, يعني نحدد تكلفة cost of each cost for each critical activity, يعني كل نشاط حرج. Cost is as follows: the crash cost and the ordinary cost, the regular cost and the cost, or the regular or even the normal durations, and the crash duration, or even preferably like the regular duration, not the crash here. 3. Compute. We compute the cost of the task after crash. We can only compute the cost of the task after crash. يعني نحسب تكلفة المهمة بعد التسريع. Equals to the gross crash costs يعني مجموع تكاليف الإسراع plus the current costs يعني التكلفة أو التكاليف الحالية. بكم an example for a crash يعني مثال على الإسراع في تنفيذ المشروع. An example for crash of the task execution. Supposedly that any trade supply or any trade fund corporation is actually would like to crash any task execution in order not to miss the commercial season clients. Then would like to knowing the cost of the project, or would like to know the cost of the task if it was willing to execute it within only 20 weeks. The following table or the following schedule disambiguates and illustrates the duration and cost of accomplishment of each of the task constitutive activities at the normal duration, and the duration as well as the cost of any activities in case of willing crash and acceleration of the task execution. يعني بفرض أن إدارة شركة التموين التجارية supposedly that the commercial or even the trade funding corporation or the trade supply corporation would like to crash any task execution in order not to miss the trade season clients or the commercial season clients, and then would like to know the cost of any tax if the corporation was willing to execute the crash within only 20 weeks. Then the following table is scheduling the duration and cost of each of the task constitutive activities accomplishment at the normal durations, as well as the duration and cost of each activity in case of willing crash and execution, the acceleration of the task or the acceleration of the task execution. Good. Same as the way it happened before, or same as the way it took place before. The cost of the crash of the task execution يعني تكاليف الإسراع في تنفيذ المشروع. Statement, normal duration and normal cost, crashed duration and crashed, as you can see right in front of you. يعني تحديد الرسومات الهندسية، تحديد المستشارين المتوقعين, determining the engineering sketch, determining the expected unusual renters, the setting for database of renters, contractor selections, as well as setting database for the municipality clearance and setting database for municipality or the committee sanction, commencing or then starting constructions, and signing contracts with renters and renters commencing business. As you can see right in front of you, each of the digital data here illustrated right in front of you for each of the normal duration as well as the normal cost and the crash duration, as you can see right in front of you. Each duration is actually right in front of you as it happens, or even as visualized currently, or even as visualized right here. يعني كل مدة والإسراع في المدة، كل مدة والإسراع في المدة كما مبين أمامكم as illustrated right here in front of you. The gross cost, the normal gross cost of the project or the normal gross cost of the task يعني إجمالي تكلفة المشروع العادية الاعتيادية تساوي equals to 238.300 يعني 238.300 كما ترون أمامكم. يرجى التركيز عنها، يوجد التركيز فيها. As you can see right in front of you, as you can see right in front of you, an example for a crashing a task. يعني مثال على الإسراع في تنفيذ المهمة. First of all, we calculate the cost for each critical path as follows. يعني نحسب تكلفة كل نشاط يعني الحرج كالتالي. As you can see right in front of you. Activity A, cost 18,000 minus 9,000 equals to 9,000 equals to 4,500 riyal per week. And as you can see right in front of you. Cost of the activity H, 1,500 minus 1,000, as you can see right in front of you. 1,500, 500, 500. Cost of the activity wow, 8,300 minus 300 equals to 8,000 to 2, 4,000 riyal per week. The cost of the Z activity or Xi activity, 26 or even 260,000 minus 200,000 equals to 300 or even equals to 30,000 riyal per week. The cost of the Ta activity, 3,000 minus 2,000 equals to 1,000 riyal per week. Cost or computing the cost of crashing a task. Activity H, activity Ta, activity Wow, activity Alif, activity Zai. 500,000, 400, 4,000, 4,500, and 30,000 respectively. 1, 1, 2, 2, 2 is the crash. As you can see, whatever is actually the duration, the optimal duration for each activity. 2, we ascendingly assort the activities according to the crash cost for each unit time. 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 1 equals 5 weeks. The crash cost 500 plus 1,000 plus 4,000 plus times 2 equals to 4,500 or even equals to 4,500 equals to 14,000 riyal. The cost of the task accomplishment in 20 weeks equal to normal cost plus crash cost. يعني تكلفة إنجاز المشروع في 20 أسبوع هي الكلية، يعني التكلفة الاعتيادية زائد تكلفة الإسراع. يعني تكلفة الإسراع 238.300 plus 14,000 equals to 252.300 riyal. This is the gross cost for the project, or the gross cost for the task accomplishments in 20 weeks, which pretty much equal, by the way, equals to normal cost plus the crash cost. تم بحمد الله.